Cruise control to soothe the soul. The best drive on the N1. Welcome to Melville Drive. Right here on ilovemelville.live.
It's officially the second and final hour of the Melville Drive on this beautiful, gloomy Wednesday afternoon.
It's a great Wednesday.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. We absolutely love it. Let's head into the news and get this show on the road.
It's top of the hour. Time for news on ilovemelville.live.
Killian appears in court in connection with attempted hit on attorney Booth. CPI drops to 2.9% in February from 3.2% in January. And then in your international news, Australians warned of deadly spider plague after floods. It's 20 degrees in Johannesburg. My name is Mncedisi. Good afternoon. One of the men accused of playing a role in a Cape Town detective's murder returns to court next month for another case. That matter relates to the botched assassination of defense attorney William Booth last April. Zane Killian and 4 others were in the dock at the Cape Town Magistrates Court on Wednesday morning. In a separate matter before the Melville Regional Court heard last week, it emerged that 5 shots were fired at Booth outside his Cape Town home on 9 April. The state's case is that Killian conspired with Kim Smith, Kotha Brown, Ibrahim Dare, and Riyad Khassant to have the lawyer killed. They're facing charges of attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, unlawful interception and of communication and access or interception of data. Killian also faces a count of murder for his alleged involvement in the murder of anti-gang unit detective Charles Kinar. His bail bid in the case was unsuccessful last week. Statistics South Africa on Wednesday said that the annual consumer price inflation was lower in February at 2.9% compared to the 3.2% recorded the previous month. The rate is the lowest since June last year when it stood at 2.2%. Statistics SA said has put the lower CPI reading in February down to several contributors, including food and non-alcoholic beverages, which increased by 5.2% year-on-year. Housing and utilities increased by 2.6% and contributed a 0.6% point. CPI measures the price of goods and services consumed by South Africans and is used to calculate the inflation rate of the economy. The figures released on Wednesday morning reflect the CPI for all urban areas. Meanwhile, the provincial annual inflation rates were 2.7% in Gauteng and 3.3% in Mpumalanga and the Northwest. In your international news, a plague of the world's most venomous spiders could swarm Sydney after territorial rain and flooding, the Australian Reptile Park said on Wednesday, warning that the deadly arachnids could seek refuge in homes as they escape the deluge. Relentless downpours have caused vast flooding in New South Wales state, which parts of the suburban northwest Sydney still underwater. Residents welcomed sunshine on Wednesday after days of rainfall, only to receive an urgent warning to brace for an influx of the deadly funnel web spiders, which is endemic to the Sydney region. The upcoming warm weather and high levels of humidity is the perfect storm for a funnel web spider boom in coming days, Park Director Tim Falkle said in the statement. With the incredible flooding that we experienced across the greater Sydney area, they have been forced out of their habitat and are seeking refuge in drier areas, he added. Unfortunately, this means that they'll be finding their way into residential homes very shortly. Images of thousands of spiders escaping flood waters have already gone viral on social media in recent days, terrifying arachnophobes as masses of the 8-legged creatures swamped up fences and buildings. Sydney funnel webs are widely feared for their notorious toxic and fast-acting venom, with 13 recorded deaths from bites. However, no one is believed to have died since an anti-venom program was introduced in the early 1980s. The Australian Reptile Park, which supplies life-saving anti-venom, has encouraged people who feel safe enough to do so to catch and deliver wandering funnel web spiders to designated collection facilities. The rand is at 14.71 against the US dollar, 17.50 against the euro, and 20.47 against the Great British Pound. Quick recap of your top stories this hour. Killian appears in court in connection with attempted hit on attorney Booth. CPI drops from 2.9% in February from 3.2% rather in January. And then in your international news, Australians warned of deadly spider plague after floods. Catch me again at the bottom of the hour with your news headlines. It's time for us now to head into the sporting headlines with Stephanie Cook.
Bring you all the sporting news. This is sports on ilovemarvel.live.
Afternoon. In your football headlines, England vs San Marino, Marcus Rashford a major injury doubt, Bukayo Saka to miss World Cup qualifier. In your boxing headlines, Dillian White has recruited a trainer who helped him to plot a destructive revenge against Lennox Lewis. In your Olympic news, New Zealand Olympians to get early access to vaccine. And that is all for your headlines. I am Stephanie Cook.
It's the grace and the poise you use when you say it for me. And that is all for your sporting headlines with me, Stephanie Cook.
I'm sure there's someone out there who's like, you know what, just give me sports like a sports nigga, bro.
I just want to hear the sports.
No. Finessing the sports with some
No, we must always have the Stephanie sass. Ketua Griffiths, how are you doing?
I am doing quite okay.
Are you happy to be on our show today?
I'm so happy and excited to be here. I thought you guys will ask in the first hour, but now that you're asking, oh my gosh, like
Oh no. We're not hospitable like that.
We first had to let you feel it out. You know?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, no, I love being here.
We love you too.
You guys are a whole vibe.
We love you too. Coming up in this hour, we chat to a parental expert, Ayanda Tekiana, on the impacts of the pandemic on family finances. And then we have our ship drive where the ladies are going to be taking over and we're chatting, are there benefits to online dating?
Ooh.
I'm super excited for that one.
I'm sure everybody is because y'all are out here since Mixit, Facebook, Tinder, Grindr, everything.
Right.
We see y'all Instagram in the DMs. These are all online dating vibes.
They really are. We're going to take a quick music break, and then when we come back, we have Ayanda Tekiana on the line. This one is called Andivangawe by Levi the Craftsman. Let's go.
You should bet your life. That was one of the best advice. People always have to say what to do. They forget we don't wear that same shoes. I'm taking control. Please don't get involved. Wanna be the greatest of them all. That was one of the best advice. People always have to say what to do.
What are you doing? Guys, this is unacceptable. Where's you? I'm not a snitch, sir. You're not a snitch. Tell me I'm sitting in my office when you get there. Unacceptable.
I need to run away. I need to run away. Sugu na sini. I need to run away. Issue, 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 issue,
This one is titled Andivangawens by Levi the Craftsman on the Melville Drive. Sir, get this right. According to the CSON PR Newsshire, the COVID-19 pandemic has created an unpredictable financial environment for many families. For 6 out of 10, that means changes to their household budgets, according to the latest college average student loan survey of 1,141 parents of college students conducted by Barnes and Noble College Saints. Now, this basically means that every single family has had to downsize.
COVID came through and did the most, right?
COVID came through and did the most. And I imagine it's harder for families that have kids, right? So kids that are young.
Who want to go out and do fun things.
Absolutely. Who want new things for school, want new clothes, and just want to live wholesome lives, right? So I think we then thought we going to get Ayanda Tekyana in, our residential parental expert, to come talk to us about the impact on of the pandemic on family finances. Good afternoon, Ayanda.
Hi, everyone. How are you guys?
We're doing amazing. How are you on this gloomy Wednesday afternoon?
Right, the weather is just, it's not playing game.
It's really, really not. So Ayanda is our favorite parental expert, and today we're chatting the impact of the pandemic on family finances. Ayanda, how much of an impact do you think COVID-19 has had when it comes to parents having to budget, especially around their children?
I think it's literally had an impact on everyone, whether you have kids or not. And then it just makes it a little bit trickier if you do have kids. Because then whatever downgrade in terms of your pay, or if you've been let off, actually, you now have to now not do what the things you used to do, movies, all of that stuff. And now you have this little person who's looking at you thinking, hi, well, mommy, this is what I want. This is what I'm used to. Now you have to kind of figure out how to explain this. And it's kind of like a tough.
Sure.
Do you think that there are any advantages in terms of budgeting around the children, and maybe COVID-19 giving us a silver lining behind the cloud? Do you think, in your opinion, this could be healthy?
Oh, definitely. Because first of all, I think a lot of us have had to come to ourselves and figure out that we are horrible at this budgeting thing. I, for one, have been shocked about how much I have not been saving, considering, So I think those are things that we have to consider now. And you really think you don't know what else it could be next time. It could be something else. So you always want to have some type of savings that you have. And for me, how I look at this, it's like an opportunity to actually learn and go through the challenge with your children and say, listen, if we're going through a tough time, be open, be vulnerable, and say, we just have to cut on a lot of things. Some months we're not going to afford these fancy stuff. But if we have let's talk about priorities. So it brings the family together, so to say. If you can bring the conversation in a right way, where it becomes a learning opportunity for your kids.
I was about to say that this could definitely be a learning opportunity, because when you have the conversation, you could say, well, because of this, how about you start saving for the things that you like, so that you give them a sense of ownership and responsibility. Yes. How do you deal with the disappointment? Because I can imagine it's never a nice feeling for parents to disappoint their children, and then you can tell the like my son or my daughter is
without
really
feeling guilty, because parents have a lot of guilt when they say no, right?
Yes.
How do they deal with that?
How do you talk yourself out of the guilt?
Listen, you most likely going to feel guilt, but if you are aware of the situation and you know there's nothing you can do, really, then it shouldn't be something that becomes a train smash. You actually should just be open. You know, one of the activities that I do with my parents who come to me with assistance with this is that I would ask them to actually just once every 2-3 years take out your salary, you know, and then create little templates where you draw up, like you write rent, you write, you know, food, groceries, and all of that, and basically take this cash money and literally put it on the floor with your whole family, obviously age appropriate, and show them that this money thing actually just as, you know, I think about the analogy of how when my mom and my dad used to say they didn't have money when I was a child, I'd be like, you just got paid.
Now when you're an adult, you understand, like, oh my gosh, that's what they were talking about. This is what they meant. What would your advice or your solution be for someone who is in a difficult financial moment right now, and where do they start? Like, where is their first point to say, look, I've got a problem, but my kids are my biggest problem. How do I start?
It's that sitting down and priorities. So if I'm only able to take care of the rent and, for instance, and the electricity, not able to buy fancy food anymore, you know, all these extra desserts, then sit down with them and show them, listen, this is how much we have and this is how much it can stretch us. And then ask them, if this is what would happen if I don't pay rent. This is what will happen if I do not pay electricity. So ask them, which one do you think is more important? Would you like to go a day, for instance, without electricity, just to have an experience? I think a lot of children already know how it feels with load shedding, that it's just not nice. But now imagine having to experience that and it's not your choice. There's just no electricity because you can't afford it, type of situation. So it's a teaching moment, because we then teach our children about budgeting. We teach them to say, and you, even in your life as adults, your child will one day be an adult and they will not always afford what they want. So once you empower them with that skill and that okay mindset to say, listen, this is what happens in the real world.
And I want us to talk about, you know, when so yes, the situation is tough and parents need to sit down with the children to make them understand that this is what's going on in the family right now. But how important is it that you don't completely cut them off and rule it off and say, oh, okay, now that I've sat down with them and I've told them you can't get peanut butter or jam or XYZ, how important is it for you as a parent?
It's usually the nicer stuff, like your ice cream.
Pizzas, burgers.
How important is it to then, when the situation does become a bit better, maybe not where it used to be, to maybe reintroduce some of those things to say, our world has not ended, but this is how life works?
Oh yeah, I encourage that. And one of the things I also do with my parents as well is to encourage them to even give their children an allowance, you know, whether it's 50 Rand, 100 Rand. It's very important to allow your child to then say, okay, this is the amount of money I have, and I am going to do the budgeting for myself. Allow your child to say, this is a priority for me. If they want to save for a PlayStation game or whatever, give them money and encourage them to work towards saving for whatever they want that's important to them. And that's the lifelong skills. And one of the things that I wanted to say that a big don't in the whole allowing your kids to start having allowance when things start to be better. Also, make sure that you do not align allowance with a kind of punishment situation. Because a lot of parents, what they would then do is they will say, and then you didn't wash the dishes, therefore I'm going to take a certain amount of money. But let me tell you why that has a negative connotation. Because then your child's self-worth is determined by, I need to work hard. And we actually need to get out of that mentality to say, you work hard to get paid. You actually need to just work smart, and then you reap the rewards. So
yeah.
No, sure. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask, so what is the appropriate punishment then? Because you would find that they would say
no beating.
So yes, we don't beat children on the Melville Drive. We've discussed. So then people would say, I need to punish you because I need to teach you the value of being held accountable. So how could I then best do it? Because sometimes we think, money is the easiest one to take away. I don't know. How do we then best do it?
So it depends. It depends, obviously, age appropriateness, but you can do other things, so you can make them sweep or clean after or those kind of punishments. But just be very conscious that when you bring into the money, it doesn't become I'm not worthy type of situation. I mean, for a whole disciplining is a whole different conversation. There's so many things that we need to talk about that. We can definitely slot that in one of our sessions, and then I'll break down the whole mindset around it and how is the right way to do it, such that your child still does not feel like they're worthless or they're not worthy, So it's important. And back to the question that you asked earlier, always be having those conversations. If you say, you know what, today I think this month I think we can afford to go out, but there's a budget. Be open to saying such things so that when your children get to the restaurant, they can actually open the menus and start looking to say, okay, this is the budget. This is 50 Rand, the burger's 30 Rand, and the cold drink or the milkshake. And then you're teaching them a skill which is going to be a lifelong lesson for them as they grow up, and it becomes something that it's invaluable.
Do you have any ideas that won't break the bank in terms of entertainment for the kids, especially since COVID came through and we're stuck in the house? We can't go to the movies. We can't do this because budget restrictions. Are there any ideas in terms of what we can do as a family to stay entertained?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's so many. Listen, a lot of times the things that, I think COVID has shown all of us that the things that we thought we had to do, we can actually live without them. So small little things like having a chess board, cards, you can buy like little paint things and people can paint each other's faces. You can play with that just hair. That's something that we do quite often in my household. There's so many things, and it would usually be guided by your children's interests. And I always encourage parents to make it like, have a Sunday where it's like you and your kids, and encourage that bonding, because then you are saying, I see you, I hear you, I can, a lot of times we grew up in that whole environment where we just wanted to be seen but not heard. Now we want our children today to know that we can see them, we can hear them, all of that. And it has a huge impact in terms of their self-confidence. So now you're going to go into the workplace, you're going to go to your school, wherever, as an adult who was always taught that your opinion mattered. We care about you. So these things, all of them start in the household. And I always encourage parents, whatever you do with your children, think about the future. Think about, how will this impact them when I'm no longer there? How will this empower them when I'm no longer there? And I don't think, if we think of it that way, we will literally climb mountains for them in that regard.
That is absolutely beautiful. Wow. Thank you so much, Ayanda, for joining us today. That's all we have time for, unfortunately. That was parental expert Ayanda Tekiana on how the COVID has impacted finances and how parents can have the conversation with their kids. And I think the biggest takeaway from me was this can be turned into a lesson. Teach your kids how to budget.
I like that, because what we do today matters tomorrow.
Absolutely. Ayanda, thank you so much for joining us. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
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 You know, I wish my mom had taught me how to budget at a younger age, because then I would not find myself in a situation where I'm 19 years old and I'm left with 0 rand and I'm a varsity student, you know. And only now that I'm older, we having the conversations of, yo, ma, so how do I budget? How do I do this? And she says, no, do this, do that. This works, this works. Had she taught me this at a young age, I would not be going to
You know,
these
there's
things.
this book by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah.
And he says that's the one thing that his rich dad taught him was about money, financial awareness, and like budgeting. Whereas with his poor dad, or his biological father, speaking about money and finances was very taboo, and it was very like the old people only talk about it, not the kids. It's got nothing to do with the kids, you know. So I think in a lot of households in Africa, that is the same mentality. Like, the money belongs to the adults and we don't talk about it with the kids.
It's absolutely true. And I think we must abolish that thing.
Yeah, that has to change, because the sooner you start teaching them how to budget, imagine what a pro kid that kid will be when they grow up.
Very
and
true.
I feel like they're running away from this conversation because they feel like they are taking away privileges from their kids. Because obviously when you're teaching a child how to budget, you have to like restrict a lot of things. So they're trying to they fear having to like lose that kind of relationship they have with their kids. Now their kids are, okay, thank you. Yes, I know, right? Yeah.
I think a big one on that also is the fear of losing respect. If my child knows how much I earn and this is what we're budgeting on, do they not fear losing that respect?
Yeah, my kid's gonna think I'm broke.
Are they gonna respect me as their dad still?
But you know what I think that is? I just think raise kind human beings. If you raise your children to be kind, you don't have to worry about those things.
True story.
Ah, man, it's absolutely beautiful on the Melville Drive. Hey, pearls of wisdom, pearls of wisdom. 29 after 4 Central African time. Let's head into the bottom of the hour, news headlines and sports bulletin, and then when we come back, it's time for a ship drive and online dating. Something about mix-its and stuff. Yeah. Let's go.
It's top of the hour. Time for news on ilovemarvel.live.
Your top stories this afternoon. It's 20 degrees in Johannesburg. My name is Mncedisi. Good afternoon. Killian appears in court in connection with attempted hit on attorney Booth. CPI drops from 2.9% in February to 3.2% in January. From 3.2% in January, rather. Then in international news, Australians are warned of deadly spider plague after floods. The rand is still trading at 14.71 against the US dollar, 17 rand 50 against the euro, and 20 rand 47 against the Great British pound. It's time for us now to head into sports with Stephanie Cook.
Bring you all the sporting news. This is sports on ilovemarvel.live.
I'm Stephanie Cook with your sports news. In football, England vs San Marino, Marcus Rashford a major injury doubt, Bukayo Saka to miss World Cup qualifier. Marcus Rashford missed Manchester United's FA Cup defeat to Leicester with a foot problem and is now a doubt for England vs San Marino on Thursday. Bukayo Saka will miss the opening 2022 World Cup qualifier as Arsenal continues to assess his hamstring injury. In boxing news, Dillian White has recruited a trainer who helped to plot destructive revenge for Lennox Lewis. Destruct and destroy. You've got to be in that mindset. Harold the Shadow Knight helped Lennox Lewis avenge defeat and has been priming Dillian White for a devastating victory over Alexander Povetkin. In your Olympic news, New Zealand Olympians to get early vaccine access. Athletes representing New Zealand at the Tokyo Olympics later this year will be able to apply to be vaccinated against COVID-19 before they depart. And that is it for your sports news.
Thank you, Stephanie Cook. Okay, ladies, the floor is yours.
The ship drive. Are you guys into online dating? Have you ever?
I have. Look, I feel like the first person I ever fell in love with, I met them online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was actually a very tricky story.
How did that go?
I've always been, Okay, so here's what happened. Do you guys remember the days of BBM?
Yes. Oh, thank God for BBM.
So there was BBM, right? And BBM used to have those pen broadcast things that would travel across provinces, right? So then I get person X's pen on BBM. So me and person X start speaking. We start speaking. Person X tells me that they have a boyfriend.
Person X.
Scandalous in the BBM streets.
Okay, person X tells me that they are in a relationship. I'm like, oh, who are you in a relationship with?
Mm-hmm.
Person X shows me person Y.
Okay.
Oh, I think I like person Y now. Oh, what's person Y's
You
pin?
scandalous.
Person X gives me person Y's pin. Dagena. 3 years later, I think 3 or 2. So I'm in grade 10 at the time. 2-3 years later, get to Johannesburg. Who do I meet?
Person
Y. Who do I meet about a year later? Person X.
Oh my gosh.
Who both wants me? Person Y and person X.
Oh my gosh. So who ended up with you?
No one.
Oh my gosh. So to this day, do you speak to them?
Bump into person Y here and there.
But it's like platonic and like at a distance.
No, it's we have unfinished business.
Oh.
I think about the one with person X because remember when I saw person Y, I was just like, person X, I think I'm done with you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was he better looking?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, according to the Medium website, there's no shortage of online dating websites and apps these days. Like, let's look at Tinder, Grindr. Like, these things are there, guys.
Yeah, they really are.
Whether you're looking
How do
for
you know
men,
about Grindr?
I feel like Stephanie's been around.
No, like, bruh, like I've got a cell phone. I've got Google Play. Hello.
Okay, we're here for
Guys,
you.
all you have to do is go to your app stores and you don't have to look far for anything. Especially when they're doing like these promos of apps, you know.
Yeah.
They're out here, my guy. And also I'm awoke. I'm in the community.
Yes,
sir.
We love it. We support you. We love it.
So whether you're looking for men or women or a relationship or just sex, there's an online dating option for you. Older folks might tell you that you should just wait, let it happen naturally, find someone out there in the real world. But you know, us young blokes and folks, we're just like, hey, we've got an app.
We are here for it.
But is it the best way to date?
Is it? I don't think it is.
Have you never dated online, Katie?
Well, let's define that whole dating online thing. Does it have to be on Tinder? Does it have to be
No.
those
Any app.
Or can
WhatsApp
it be
even.
Instagram, Twitter.
WhatsApp, yeah.
Then I have. It's a tricky situation.
Wait, on WhatsApp.
Yeah, WhatsApp.
But you must meet someone to get their WhatsApp number. Now I'm talking about
I'm
someone you
Facebook.
So this is technically
story.
online.
Like we're direct, and then
What happened?
She found out he was psycho.
No, not that he was psycho. We actually had a proper relationship.
Yeah? How long
Yeah.
did this last?
A good 3 years.
Oh!
Right?
Okay.
So,
I'm loyal to the T. But it was unrealistic at the end of the day because, like, I see you like probably once a year.
Were you guys in separate provinces?
Asia, South Africa.
You basic continents.
No, they were not dating these ones.
Yo, that's hectic.
That's
That's
what
so
I'm
hectic.
saying. Like, it becomes tricky because, like, you really connect with this person, but now coming to
distance.
reality, it can't happen.
That's so hectic, right? Why are you laughing? That's so mean.
Wow. He's in Asia and you were
He
connecting.
was. I mean, he is
Over
from
what?
South
So we're
Africa.
talking about serious things.
Oh,
He
moved
is from South Africa.
Okay.
And then he studied in Asia. So he's back now, but
So now that he's been back, have you guys like seen each other? Unfinished business vibes? Why are you laughing? These are serious
Ntato
questions.
is a terrorist, actually. Ntato is a terrorist.
I mean, we still keep in touch.
so
Whatever
how
that
did it
means.
end? Why did it end?
Distance, I'm
It was the
guessing.
distance
The
that
long
made it
distance
end
is
before he
killing
came
me.
back. So even when
Ah.
he came back, I was already in another relationship. So it was like, okay.
So you didn't want to wait for the Asian dick?
Waited 3 years.
It's South African, bruh.
No, after 3 years, it's
Citizenship.
I
Now calm down with these laughs, please.
shut it down, please. After 3 years, like the barcode changes.
Right?
It was shy. I mean, it was a mutual decision. You know what?
Yeah.
We both have emotions. We both got needs. So
Yeah.
let's just part ways. I
Yeah.
mean, we didn't burn any bridges, but that
Facts.
was just the end of the road for the relationship.
There's a saying in Zulu that says "La amanzi ake amakona, ayopinda ami." Basically means if the water has stopped here, it's gonna come stop again.
Okay.
Which means
Right. I love the translation. Thank you.
don't you ever have regrets though?
Regrets, no. No.
I think you were also learning about yourself at that point. I'm guessing, like you learned a lot about yourself.
The distance relationship because
you didn't want the drama in your face.
Hey, but I don't like the whole every day I must see you now. Hey, meet at corners. No.
Yeah,
I feel you. I've never experienced online dating. Honestly, I've dated and obviously we're chatting online. That's as far as it's gone to. But for me, my biggest fear is being catfished.
Sure.
Bruh, imagine now you're out here showing me you look like
Asha.
Babes with a 6-pack, and then all of a sudden when I see you in real life,
yeah.
my heart would just break, you know.
I get it.
And like I fear for that kind of a thing. Like I don't want to fall in love with someone that I'm actually not knowing.
And that is the sad part. You actually fall in love with
That's
these
what I'm saying. Because
people.
at the end of the day, relationships deal with emotions.
Exactly.
I've been catfished.
Bruh.
I was catfished, but I remember I didn't mind.
Because he was hot?
So
why?
I saw. So I see. Okay, so obviously the picture comes, and then it's time to meet now. I'm like, yeah, man. I'm pretty sure you didn't look like this, but I'm like, but
fingers crossed. Hope for the best.
So, but when I'm like, okay, but we can work with this. This we can work with.
So when you saw him, you're like, okay, it's not the same face, but it's workable.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you weren't upset?
Yeah, no, I wasn't because I think the new face was better than the old one.
Oh, okay.
Upgrade.
That's nice.
I'm going to shut down this laughing thing.
My guy. That finger is so trigger happy with the laughs. Our laughs are better. I feel like it's better.
Sure. So I've been catfished, but I never had a bad catfish experience.
Yeah, where it was
you had
like no, because I'm not about the streets like that, so I don't even put myself in that position.
You don't?
No.
For me, it was always a you live once type of thing. Eh?
Listen, I got Tinder, the app, but I think it was just more for like an ego stroke more than anything. Because like when people would like swipe and I'd be like, okay, great, but I'd never go on a date.
Why?
I don't know. I was just like,
don't you want to do it now?
Psycho. No, I've got to pay. Thank you.
I don't know. There are a lot of
it's a social experiment. Oh, but we said we're gonna do this for the producer. We said we're gonna do this for Matab. We're going to start.
We're gonna put a Tinder account. Yeah.
Put him out there.
This one's gonna be so interesting. But there are so many dangers in online dating.
He's on Tinder already.
Are you on Tinder right now?
He's chatting to someone.
Please come. I want to read the messages.
Who are you?
Come.
What do you mean?
I want to read your messages. Come. And then please tell us what your type is. This is so interesting. Literally firsthand. He'll tell us if. No wonder he did this.
But you're so way ahead of us,
you need to know what's going on in these streets. Okay, what's the worst thing that you think could happen to you doing online dating?
You get kidnapped.
That is the first thing I was thinking.
You get kidnapped.
Human trafficking and stuff, right?
Yeah, human trafficking.
I mean,
you never know.
There were a lot of movies.
Yeah.
You know, that
Taken being
Taken
that one.
was like the ultimate. There are too many movies that show you that this whole thing of online dating and online stuff, it's dangerous.
He's got the source right now.
Wow.
He's got the source right now. What is going on?
Yo.
It is such a long... What are you going through the most?
Okay, no, I'm trying to figure out the appropriate parts to read. Hi, Bo.
Okay,
I can tell you guys that Matab was the game.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
So... I think we won't mention the lady's name.
No, please don't.
Out of privacy,
respect.
Out of respect. So Mataba says, "Hey, person X, how are you doing?" Person X says, "Morning, how are you?" "I'm well, thanks. And yourself, beautiful queen?"
Yes! He's got the compliment.
And then she says, "I'm good too. Thanks for asking," with the biggest smiley face ever.
Oh gosh.
Hey! Oh!
Slam dunk. He won. Clearly he can't read the rest of that because it's a bit R-rated.
I just want to find where they say they're going on a date. Hi! Alright. Then he says, "Hey beautiful. Hope that you're well. Mind us communicating further on WhatsApp?" And then she says, "Hey, I'm good. How are you?" "Yeah, sure, no problem. Dial me on my number."
That was the go ahead.
And then he says, "Thank you. I will send you a message shortly." Did you send the message? We stand a king. Where's the horn? This is the time for the horn. We stand a king.
Here we are thinking that we should open a Tinder account for Mataba, but Mataba is way ahead of us.
Mataba is doing very, very well.
I'm sure he's the producer for a reason, guys.
Oh yeah, there.
Yeah, he's one step ahead of us.
Oh my goodness. I think there are benefits. No wonder he's got like a hop in his step these days.
We see you
He gets to
online
work
dating
earlier.
here. No, but these laughs though, eh?
Honestly.
But let's talk about these laughs, bro.
I mean, yeah, he gets to work earlier. You know, please, man.
You're gonna make somebody like just, you know.
There's just a lot of joy in
Please,
Matabo's
please.
face, on Matabo's face right now. Look at him.
I see
Walking out, bro. Look at you.
Swan.
So clearly, this is a
Tibone.
safe space. I think it's safer for guys to do it than girls.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like but then again, if you're doing like online dating, in terms of guys going online and searching for a lady, I think she wouldn't be kidnapping you. Whereas as a girl,
you don't know that.
that time in Zimbabwe, those ladies raped a nigga, right?
Yeah, they are.
Why you shook? You know these girls
What?
gang, babes. They hijacked the nigga and raped him.
Yeah, it's possible. Guys can be trafficked. Guys can. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
Actually,
That only
Matabo,
happens
please,
on
man.
Please,
You must always send us your live location there
if you're going on a date, right?
if you're going on a date.
That is a very
And pay
important
for the
tip.
date, please.
Listen, guys, I think Matabo's got this.
No, but just in case you don't, we got you. Okay.
Yeah.
He's got beautiful queens. I mean,
Hello.
Ciao.
come on.
Hi.
Ciao.
Whom's you?
I'm sorry here. There's a comment from Silva. He says, I've dated someone online for 1 year, but the nice thing about this is I got to meet the person once before we started dating online. So it didn't really start online.
Yeah, that was more of like, I like you, but we're going to continue this.
Yeah, and basically it just means that Silva is a kwababa, you know? Like, I mean, when you meet the person for the first time, why would you just lock the deal there? Why do you need to take it online?
Some people
sometimes
move
you
at
just need
different
to be sure.
rates.
Kwababa, kwabibizu.
Some people move at different rates and like paces, you know. Sometimes being too forward sometimes might just end you up in the wrong.
Okay,
Closet,
facts.
you know.
Facts.
Facts.
Well,
Yeah.
all I can say is that izinto zakamatabo zihamba ngolayini.
He made me do this. If you guys,
Aye.
if the whole challenge is on TikTok, follow us on TikTok. I love Melville Live.
Zihamba
We
ngolayini.
moving
Matabo, I'm so happy for you. Matabo is saying, by the way, I have a way of complimenting ladies and I somehow get a date afterwards.
Ooh, boo, 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 boo.
No, it's not coming. You would damage that.
Aye, nice, I
Bruh.
salute you. All the best. Ladies, can we wrap it up? Yes.
We can wrap it up.
44 after 4 and on the Melville Drive. We're wrapping it up. We had a nice show. I had a great show.
It was a lovely day.
Absolutely
It was
enjoyed the show today.
great.
It was a beautiful first day.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome
I
to
feel
it.
baptized. Come on, somebody.
No. We are still going to baptize
Okay,
you.
so,
Friday, we need to
yeah.
baptize.
We
with
are baptizing
tequila.
you Friday. There's a lot going on Friday.
There's a lot going on
Yeah,
on
we are
Friday.
baptizing you on Friday.
Guys, come back on Friday.
Ne?
There's
Even
a lot.
tomorrow is fine.
Yeah, definitely tomorrow first. And then tomorrow you get to find out what happens on Friday.
How about
That's
that?
exactly what we're going to do. Yeah. So, yeah, but there's also like a dark side to
What?
online dating. I mean,
Uh-huh.
if there's an entire show about it, catfish,
Mm.
I mean, come on.
You
Already
should be
know.
aware.
Hey,
Yeah.
but sometimes, like I said, the catfish works out, man.
For you, babes, you were
For
lucky.
you.
Your ancestors were out here for you.
Blessed and
You know
highly
what I mean? They
favored.
were like, we go bless you,
They
child.
got you, babes.
I must start communicating with them. Communicating combos. Good word, goodbye, ladies. Good word, goodbye.
If you are going to be in the streets on the dating line, stay safe and call a friend.
Aha. Good word, goodbye, Katie.
Make sure that your friends know where you are at all times in case you get kidnapped, because this is real.
Yeah. Right, my good word, goodbye. Don't be like Silva. Yigalani kwababa, man. Just like
Wow.
ask people out. This is the Melville Drive. We out. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
That's what I like, Silver.
Yeah. Hey. Just be patient. Yeah. I'm in the stew. Thinking about you, do this for you. I know you patiently waiting. I know you anxiously waiting. Just wait a little longer. It's all gonna be worth it, right? Yeah. It's all gonna be worth it, right? Yeah. Okay, my shot. Let's get to the point, get started, yeah. We ain't got much time. Rather be mine for life than switch your man. Believe that. that I'm all about us, but it gotta be both ways. Just like having the same taste. All these tracks got me on a race. Sacrificing my time while I'm on the grind in a club full of bad bitches. I know this life, it ain't adequate. I gotta get it quick, I can't never quit. I just wanna live this life full drip. Take a sip, 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 girl, it's all it takes. Wait, ay, ay, I be in the lab trying to get it all day. I'm in this dude, thinking about you, do this for you. I know you patiently waiting. I know you anxiously waiting. Just wait a little longer. It's all gonna be worth it, right? Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's all gonna be worth it, right? Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Believe me, baby, it's gonna be worth it. Cause now I'm putting in this work, yeah. Oh, why did I have to live? It can never be perfect. I admit it, cause I'm back to back with these business. For the cash, I get it, need you to understand it, yeah. Apart from the love, gotta make this count. Take you shopping, that's with no doubt. But I need your support, so we can get it all worked out. Excuse me if I'm not giving you much time. As long as you know you'll forever be mine. I'm in this dude, thinking about you, do this for you. I know you patiently waiting. I know you anxiously waiting. Just wait a little longer. It's all gonna be worth it, right? Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah,